5 property project management tips that are really going to help you make sure that your project is a success. Now, many of you will have known my name's Alan Harding, and over the last 15 years, I've built quite a large property portfolio here in the UK. Now, that means I've got quite a lot of experience of overseeing and managing projects, as well as getting involved at all different levels of those projects. Now, for me, one of the key things right at the beginning, before you even start thinking about going into a project, is understanding what you're buying and what your end goal is. Once you've got those two together and you want to go from A to B, like anything, you need to put a plan together. Now, that plan needs to start with an accurate representation of how long you think things are going to take. Now, I understand if you're a beginner at this, that's very difficult because you won't know how long it's going to take to rewire a house, or you won't know how long it's going to take somebody to replumb a house. So it's really key for you to be able to go out and ask those tradespeople how long they expect this job to take. Now, again, this all feeds into the project plan, into the project management side of it. But once you've started building that out, you need to think about what the overall timescale is, because the overall timescale is going to have quite a large impact on your project. Now, the project management side of it realistically is going to come down to you, unless you're doing something super big that you are going to employ an architect or a QS with the main contractor to oversee that project for you. You are the responsible party as the customer, and you need to understand and you need to know that you are in control of the project. Now, for me, there are several things out there that can help you get to the bottom of creating that project plan in the first place. There's quite a few online tools that you can create tasks, you can delegate them, and you can create high-level project plans without having to be a supercomputer whiz. Now, a couple of them of those as examples are Monday.com or even Asana, and both of them will allow you to create timelines, will allow you to create tasks, will allow you to make tasks dependent on another task, so that you can start building out that plan. And once you understand that you need to do your first fix, electrics and plumbing, before you put plasterboard on the walls, then you'll start to build up in your head a roadmap of how that project's going to move forward. So for me, finding the right tool that you can potentially share with your trades or create that high-level plan is going to be key to you understanding and managing your timescales as you go through that project management element. The next piece of project management advice I can give is cost tracking, and it's one of the most fundamental pieces of any project. Now, again, anybody that's got a computer, if you've got Windows or a Mac, you have Excel or the Mac equivalent, which is Sheets. Or if you use Google, you get Google Sheets anyway. All you need, realistically, is a decent spreadsheet to be able to track the costs. Now, I can send you an example of a spreadsheet. If you put a comment below that you want to see the spreadsheet and drop me over a message with your email address, I'll quite happily send you an example of one of the spreadsheets that we've used recently. Most of this is down to an itemized list for our project. So it will be an itemized list of everything we're going to do on site with the quoted costs. Now, what you then do, as the invoices come in, you take that cost off. So, you've put all your quotes in, you've got your cost at the bottom of that column where all your quotes have come into. Obviously, if things change or if you need to adjust it, you can adjust it as you go through. If you're using the auto sum features, it will update that cost at the bottom for you, so you have a running cost projection of what your project is going to cost. As each invoice comes in, you can track that in a different column, but you can take it off the balance of what you owe. So you constantly have a running tally of what you're starting with, where you expect to be spending that money, and what your current financial position is as you've spent the money out for each piece that you go through. Now, following on from that, bringing those trades together is very important, but not just at the beginning of your project. You need to have regular catch-ups with everybody involved in the project, whether that's a weekly on-site meeting, whether it's a weekly Teams call, if you're not necessarily where your project is, but you want to kind of keep on top of everything that's going on. You need to schedule in regular calls with the people that are actually overseeing it day to day. You also want to get your trades to be sending you daily, or at least 3 times a week, sending you videos and photos from site of what's going on and what the site progress looks like. Now, this is really important because if you're using development finance or you're using investor finance, people are going to want to see what you're doing all the time, and you also need to provide those updates back. If you're not there to see it yourself every day because you've got another job, or you're doing this on the sideline, or you need some other, you're not quite in the area to be able to just go and see it every day, then you need that visual feedback. You can't just take somebody else's word for it. Once you get up and trust your builder a little bit more, then you'll be able to let them loose a little bit more and not necessarily have the updates as frequent. But whilst you're going through this process, and especially if it's your first one, I would be asking for a summary of what they've done and what the progress looks like on a daily basis. Once you've got that meeting structure done, realistically, somebody needs to be taking minutes. Now, whether that's you, whether that's somebody else, it doesn't really matter, but I would always produce a set of minutes, or at least a set of actions, so that everybody understands what their actions are before the next time that you meet. Now, that can be done in several ways. You can, if you're face-to-face, you could record the conversation and type it up later. You could get somebody else to listen and take the key points down. You could write the key points down in the notes on your phone whilst you're there discussing them and send them out later. Just find a way that really works for you to be able to track that project. The last thing, which is key to any project success, is communication. Now, for me, it's one of the most fundamental things, whether that's having a WhatsApp group with everybody in it, whether it's using email, whether it's using team calls, whether it's face-to-face. You need to keep the communication strong throughout your entire project. Otherwise, you will start to see cracks appearing. It doesn't take a lot for a project to get off track if the communication is wrong, or if people are not clear on what they're meant to be delivering. And that's one of the key things that you need to remember when you're going into delivering any project that you want to get done, whether it's in property or out of property. It's all the same. Running a project is running a project, and the fundamental thing and basis to that is going to be the communication. Now, as you know, I've run several large projects. We've developed new build houses, we've renovated several large buildings. I have project managed and renovated grade listed buildings. So if there is something you have a question on, or something you are looking for help with in your project, then please feel free to reach out, drop me a note in the comments, hit like and subscribe, and come and join me for some more property fun.